According to The Hollywood Reporter, which has a pretty damn good track record with this stuff. I mean, it's not Anus Mouth Andy's Rage Emporium on YouTube. The Hollywood Reporter usually is right with this stuff. But they're reporting that Boba Fett is expected to play just a small role in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. According to sources, Temuera Morrison will play Boba Fett. We all know that Temuera Morrison will play Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. And Temuera Morrison is basically what every clone is modeled after, right? So, does this news excite you guys? I mean, it's kind of interesting to me because when I'm scrolling through Twitter after this news dropped last night, I think it was, you know, a lot of people are super excited. And it's an excitement that I don't really understand. I mean, I get we love seeing familiar faces. We like, oh, that's Darth Vader. Darth Vader's back. I love Darth Vader. Oh, that's so-and-so. I know that character. I know that character. I love that character. Let's see him again. But for me, what the real joy of The Mandalorian is, one of the real pulls and appeals of that show to me is that it doesn't rely on characters and stories, villains or heroes that we're already familiar with, right? I mean, it's an entirely new cast of characters, an entirely new set of situations and stories that we're following. That was what was so appealing about the show to me, is that it was new, and it didn't rely on characters or things that came before. You know, sure, in terms of story, yes. I mean, like the Darksaber's there, right? That kind of stuff, cool. I get it, fine. But like to like the character resurrection, I guess I would call it. It's not something that I've ever been jumping for joy about. Obviously, you have to wait for the execution of it, right? I mean, I'm reserving judgment until I actually see how it's executed. But as a concept, I've never been a fan of bringing back characters. Like, I mean, Palpatine and The Rise of Skywalker did nothing for me. Darth Maul and the Clone Wars was something that I was really expecting not to like, but I turned out to really like Darth Maul. That doesn't mean that I still love the idea of bringing back characters. I just love the way that Darth Maul was executed in that show. But it was different because, you know, the Clone Wars also had a lot of characters that we were already familiar with. The Mandalorian is such a little, it's a little gem, right? It's a little nugget in the Star Wars universe that kind of lives by itself. It doesn't really have connections, except for these macro connections, because it is in the Star Wars world, right? So the news of like Boba Fett being in The Mandalorian Season 2, and even if it is a tiny role, even if it's even smaller than I'm thinking, it's not something that gets me that excited. I am a fan of new stuff, new characters, new stories, new. That to me is where the bread and butter of future Star Wars is. Not relying on the past, not relying on things that we are already familiar with just to hit that little nostalgia button in the back of our brain, but to give us new stuff, to keep us looking forward. That's what excites me. And so yeah, this news, while it might be pretty minute and maybe Boba Fett only is in there for like a fraction of a minute, who knows? But the news itself, knowing that like Boba Fett, if true, knowing that Boba Fett is going to be in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, the news itself does really nothing for me, gotta be honest. You guys know that. I've been saying this kind of stuff for like almost a decade on this channel. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm still super excited for The Mandalorian Season 2, obviously. This news is just kind of a little blip. But it is interesting to me to see so many people get like super excited about this. And I try to put myself in that brain. But still, man, I just want new characters, and I think that was what the appeal of The Mandalorian was to me. It didn't rely on what came before, or who came before. Anyway, have a good weekend.